All right, so let's review the definition again. A function is a rule that assigns every member of the domain. So that's some group that we're going to be taking things out of, we're going to draw from. We're going to use a rule to assign that to parent with a member of another group. Now, the technical term is subdomain, and the ones I do use we call the range. What we're going to use mostly in here is we're going to talk about domain, we're going to talk about range, we're going to talk about functions. Subdomain I mentioned because it's the technical term. We aren't going to talk much about it after, like, now. We're mostly going to focus on domain and range. This thing called the subdomain. You're right, you might be talking about it just a little bit longer. Just drawing it out. All right. Function, that's the big idea, and that's the rule that connects them. So let's take, rather than going right into math, let's use kind of a more classic example. Here's my domain, which generally speaking we call the x values, the inputs in the equation. And I'm going to make a list of girls. Sure. There's, guys, relax, relax. I actually have some specific names I need to get on here, so I can put some of you guys, but I have to keep.
You spelled my name wrong.
I did?
Yeah,
Did?
EY.
Oh, no, I didn't. See, there's the. So there's that. I also want to put on Maggie. There's only one Izzy.
What about Sasha?
And okay, now let's see. Now I need some boys' names.
Sasha.
Um,
It's both. It's both. Sasha's both.
And Lacey, you know that we're recording, right?
Yeah, but
Just
I can't
saying.
hear us.
Don't bank on not being able to be heard. Actually, I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to put on here Tim. Some call him Tim. And Mark. And Logan. Did I miss anybody I need to get on there? Nope, that's perfect. That's okay. That's okay. Now, so I have these two groups of people. I'm going to propose the rule. So here's my rule I'm going to propose. And I'm going to write it down here. Rule is that you pair each girl with a boy based on the first letter of their name. That's what I'm going to do for pairing these two groups. So when I go through and I do these pairings, let's see, Tori gets paired with Tim. Megan gets paired with Mark. Lacey gets paired with Logan. Maggie, I don't have any, sweetie, you gotta run the bathroom. Gets paired with Mark. And Izzy doesn't get paired with anybody. That's not very fun. Now, the question you ask is, does this qualify by the rule we've established as a function? By the definition we talked about, does this fit that qualification? Let me go back to the rule here. The rule says, function is a rule that assigns every member of the domain, that would be my girl list, with exactly one member of the subdomain, which would be my boy list. So why is it not a function? Well, pause up. Why not? So give me a specific problem. Ah, no, you were half right there. You said Izzy doesn't and Cody doesn't, so it doesn't work. Here's the good news. According to the rule for the definition of function, Izzy needs to get paired with somebody, Cody doesn't. Because you don't worry about what's over in the range, you only worry about the domain. As long as everybody in the domain gets paired with somebody, you're okay. So let's get some guys involved in this in order to make this a little easier here. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to add in Igor and Ivan. There we go. So now Izzy is paired with Igor and with Ivan.
Oh no, it's not a function.
Wait, why is it not a function?
Because only one input has one.
Yeah, having Izzy. Well, wait a minute. We didn't have a problem with Megan and Maggie both being paired with Mark.
Yeah, but Izzy can't have like two. Izzy can't have two options.
So Mark is cheating on
All right, this is just a class project. That's okay. Then there's no relationships. This is just a class project. Yes, that's a great way of putting it. To say the domain cannot have two, but the range can. If I say, oh, you're right, Ivan's actually in a different class, we'll kick him out.
Yeah, then it works.
Now we get rid of this. Now we have a proper function. And even though we've got two girls paired with one guy for this project, that's okay because they're in the domain. You can do that and it still fits in the rules of functions. And it's a rule. It just says, here's the scheme we're going to use to take things from this group and tie them to things in this group. Now Cody still isn't paired with anybody, but at the risk of sounding insensitive, that's okay. He's over in this group. They don't all need to be paired. And technically, this is our range. Our domain is the collection of elements, Tori, Megan, Lacey, Maggie, Izzy. Our range is the elements, Tim, Mark, Logan, and Igor.